How should you give an arm signal to turn left?
I'll find it for you, preciousness. I'll show you in a minute. How should you give an arm signal to turn left? Walaikum salam. مونږ څنګه اشاره کولی شو چې چپ طرف ته کله تاویږو. Okay, so this is when you're turning right. This is when you're stopping. That's when you're turning left. And this does not mean anything. دا چې کله چپ سایډ ته مونږ تاویږو دا کله ښي لاس ته او دا چې کله مونږ ودرېږو یا ورو کېږو. So that's when you're turning left.
When should tire pressures be checked? After any lengthy journey. When tires are cold. When tires are hot. After traveling at high speed.
When should tire pressure be checked? کله باید مونږ د ټیرونو هوا چک کړو. Okay, see, the answer is when tires are cold. Guys, do you know what does it mean when tires are cold? پوهیږئ د دې څه معنی ده چې کله ټایرونه یخ وي؟ No, preciousness, that's a wrong answer. When tires are cold means before you start driving. So before you go on a drive, that's when you should check your tires, because when you start driving the tires gets hot and it does not give you the right amount of pressure. So you should check it when tires are cold. کله چې ټایرونه یخ وي په هغسې وخت کې باید موږ د ټایرونو هوا چک کړو، ځکه د دې څه مطلب دی د ډرایو نه مخکې د سفر کولو نه مخکې باید موږ ټایرونه چک کړو when tires are cold. Guys, if you don't understand the question or if you don't understand the answer, please do ask.
What should you do if the traffic in the left-hand lane is slowing? Accelerate past the vehicles in the left-hand lane. Pull up on the left-hand verge. Move across and continue in the right-hand lane. Slow down, keeping a safe separation distance.
What should you do if the traffic in the left-hand lane is slowing? You see, if you look at this picture, the right-hand lane is closing down in 800 yards, so all the traffic will move to the left-hand lane. And if the traffic is slowing down, what should we do? We should slow down, keeping a safe separation distance. Baad mungurusu aw safe fasila makhki motor sara wasatu. Slow down, keeping a safe separation distance.
What safety device must be fitted to a trailer braking system? Stabilizer. Corner steadies. Jockey wheel. Breakaway cable.
The hazard video از باش ما داخل برای ما یادم بیار ما برایتان ویدیو نشان میتیم او را یک بار ببین. What safety device must be fitted to a trailer braking system? That's called breakaway cable. Let me just show you. Breakaway cable. That's breakaway cable. You see this red one? This is breakaway cable. And what does a breakaway cable do? It activates the automatic braking system of a trailer. دا breakaway cable له د breakaway cable څه خصوصیت دی یا څه کولی شي؟ breakaway cable چې دی د ټریلې یا د کاروان automatic braking system چې دی هغه عیاروي یا یې آن کوي. That's a breakaway cable. Okay, so that's breakaway cable.
You're driving on a clear night. Which lights should you use if the national speed limit applies and there's a steady stream of oncoming traffic? Full beam headlights. Dipped headlights. Fog lights. Side lights.
You're driving on a clear night. Which lights should you use if the national speed limit applies and there is a steady stream of oncoming traffic? that would be dipped headlights. Dipped headlights, front lights, and headlights, they're all the same, okay? So dipped headlights, front headlights, or headlights, they're all the same thing. So dipped headlights.
What should you do if you become tired while you're driving on a motorway? Close all your windows and set the heating to warm. Increase your speed and turn up the radio volume. Leave the motorway at the next exit and rest. Pull up on the hard shoulder and change drivers.
What should you do if you become tired while you're driving on a motorway? Chikala pa motorway driving kawai or study shay no bite sa shawakai. Bite the kuna. So the answer would be leave the motorway at the next exit and rest. Bad motorway prido awaramoku. Leave the motorway at the next exit and rest.
What's most likely to waste fuel? Reducing your speed. Using different brands of fuel. Underinflated tires. Driving on motorways.
What's most likely to waste fuel? Not D. Driving on motorways, no. Underinflated tires, okay? Underinflated tires وقتی که دا تایرها هوا کم باشه کلاسی تیرونو که هوا کم وی نه موتر به مدیر زور خیلی چی مخی لرسی نه دقیقه دو وجه دا موتر مصرف زیادیگی. So when you go underinflated tires, you will put more pressure on your vehicle.
In England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, what will the speed limit usually be where you can see street lights but no speed limit signs? 60 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour, 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour.
In England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, what will the speed limit usually be where you can see street lights but no speed limits? So if you see street lights and no speed limit, what would be the speed limit? That would be 30 miles per hour. 30 miles per hour.
You're driving on a motorway. What does it mean if the car in front shows its hazard warning lights for a short time? Traffic ahead is slowing or stopping suddenly. There's a police speed check ahead. The driver wants you to overtake. The other car is going to change lanes.
You're driving on a motorway. What does it mean if the car in front shows its hazard warning lights for a short time? تاسو یو موټر پسې روان یې او هغه د کم وخت لپاره hazard lights on کړي نو د دې څه معنی وي؟ What would that mean? That the traffic ahead is slowing or stopping suddenly. Traffic ahead is slowing or stopping suddenly. دې معنی دا ده چې مخکې traffic ورو کیږي او یا یودمي ودرېږي. Suddenly یکدمي ته وي یودم فوراً. Suddenly یکدمي.
What must you do if you come across roadworks that have a temporary speed limit displayed? Obey the speed limit. Use your own judgment. The limit is only advisory. Obey the limit, but only during rush hour. Ignore the displayed limit.
What must you do if you come across roadworks that have a temporary speed limit displayed? کله چې په سړک باندې کار روان او موقتی سپیډ لیمټ یې هلته ښودلی وي نو باید په هغه صورت کې موږ څه شی وکړو. So if there is a temporary speed limit, we should obey the speed limit. سوال ایست که وقتی در سرک کار می باشه و سرعت کم کرده باشه در اون صورت باید ما چی کنیم؟ باید هر چیز سرعت که نوشته باشه باید او را تطبیق کنیم در سر خودم نه؟ Obey the speed limits. Obey the speed limit.
What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? 60 miles per hour, 70 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, 50 miles per hour.
What's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? او چیز است use parking brake است به فکریم. خب what's the speed limit for a car towing a caravan on a dual carriageway? So the speed limit on a dual carriageway is normally 70. Normally the speed limit on a dual carriageway is 70, but because they ask us about towing a caravan, then the speed limit will be -10, so that would become 60. Okay, let me just explain this, guys, because a few of you made a mistake in this. It's very easy to remember. Okay, single carriageway is 60, motorway and dual carriageway is 70. It's very easy to remember. Single carriageway 60, motorway and dual carriageway 70. Only one thing you should remember: if they ask you about trailer or caravan, then what do? We minus 10. If they ask you about trailer or caravan, then what do? Then we minus 10. So if they ask you about caravan or trailer in a single carriageway, minus 10 would be 50, and if they ask you in motorway or dual carriageway, then that would minus 70 will become 60. ګوره په سنگل کریجوی کې همیشه سپیډ لیمټ او 80 وي او په موټروی او ډوال کریجوی کې 80 دی. ها سنگل کریجوی 80، موټروی او ډوال کریجوی 80. فقط دې شي ته مو خیال وي کو په سوال کې تاسو د کاروان یا د ټریلی تاسو کړی وي نو بیا به لس ماینس کوئ. کو په سنگل کریجوی کې د کاروان یا ټریلی تاسو کړی وي نو تاسو به لس د 80 نه کموي کوم چې 50 پر راځي. او که په موټروی یا ډوال کریجوی کې تاسو نه د کاروان یا د ټریلی شاته تړلو سوال راغلی نو بیا به چې دی مونږ لس ته 80 نه کمو. او کو دغه سوال کې ډوال کریجوی تاسو کړی دی بیا ویلی دي چې کاروان هم تړلی وي نو څه راځي بیا د 80 نه چې مونږ لس کم کو 80 راځي. نه ډیر آسان دی. So that's dual carriageway. Normally dual carriageway is 70, but because they ask us about towing a caravan, then we minus 10, so that's 60. Is that clear? Padi pushway atala laka chita galat taso galat kariyo. Is that clear, guys? Who said a atal Olami, you got it wrong. Gurpal Singh, समझ आ गए आपको? Yeah. Dual carriageway ګورخص چې کم یو شیم د دواړو کم سرک چې د دواړو سرکونو په منځ کې دغه ولري ممانعت ولري یا وسپنې وي یا ونې پکې ونې وي هغه چې دی هغه ډوال کریجوی ده. موټروی او د ډوال کریجوی دا فرق دی چې په ډوال کریجوی کې چې دی دغه وي ساینونه گرین وي او په موټروی کې بلو وي. زه تاسو ته ښیم 1 second guys, let me just show you dual carriageway and motorway so you know. This is motorway because all the signs are blue. همی که از motorway از کلی ساینا blue so در مابین کی central reservation ایره میگه. And okay, let me just show you where is it. Okay, this is dual carriageway. dual carriageway is ګوره dual carriageway کې مابین کې دا غلطه دی نه دې ته central reservation وایي. نو چې کله هم کوم سرک central reservation لري یا خو هغه dual carriageway وي او یا موټروی وي نو بیا به موږ ساين ته ګورو. که دلته دا ساينونه موږ وګورو ټول شنه دي نو کله چې ساينونه شنه وي د دې دا معنی ده چې دا dual carriageway ده. که ساينونه آبي کلر وي یا آسماني رنګ وي نو هغه موټروی وي. Okay, so that's 60 miles per hour.
Which sign means that the national speed limit applies?
Which sign means that the national speed limit applies? So that's no entry. This is no vehicles. That's no stopping. And this is national speed limit applies. کریمی اگر کدام سوال نفهمیدی امو شماره سوال نوشته کد آخر پرسان که ما بریتان اکسپلین
What should you do if you think the driver of the vehicle in front has forgotten to cancel their right indicator? Stay behind and don't overtake. Overtake on the left if there's room. Flash your lights to alert the driver. Sound your horn before overtaking.
What should you do if you think the driver of the vehicle in front has forgotten to cancel their right indicator? تاسو یو موټر پسې رواني تاسو دا فکر کوئ چې مخکې موټر والا ښي لاس ته انډیکیټر د یاده وتلی دی همداسې اون یې پرېښی نو په هغه صورت کې باید موږ څه شی وکړو So if you think they forgot to cancel their indicator, what should we do? We should stay behind and do not try to overtake. So stay behind and don't overtake.
What does this sign mean? Bus station on the right. Give way to buses. Contraflow bus lane. With flow bus lane.
Okay, what does this sign mean? Okay guys, you know in UK in which side do we drive in UK? Do we drive in the right hand side or the left hand side? For UK के मंग right side the drive को left side the drive को. In UK, do we drive in the right side or the left side? Khilasta ko chaplasa go left. So this is our side. So that's the lane we using, okay? That's for the normal traffic, okay? And if you look in here, that's the bus coming from the opposite direction. See? The bus is coming from the opposite direction. So we drive in the left hand side and the bus is coming from the opposite direction. And do you know what does contra means? The word contra means opposite. That the contra لفظ معنی چې دا اپوزیټ ته وي نو که دلته مونږ وګورو دا بس چې دی د اپوزیټ ساید نه روان دی نه نو دې د وجې دی ته کنټرافلو بس لین وي you see if you look in here the bus is coming from the opposite direction because that's our because in UK we drive in the left hand side so that's our lane and we can see the bus is coming from opposite direction and the word contra means opposite. Okay, so that's contraflow bus lane. And the easy way to remember that is whenever you see an arrow coming from opposite direction, that will be contraflow. Okay. کله هم چې تاسو غشې پکې وګورئ چې مخالف سم نه را روان وي نو هغه به همیشه contraflow وي دا د contra لفظ معنی چې د خپل مخالف ته وي opposite ته وي چې همدومره یاد وساتئ بیا درنه نه غلطیږي if you just remember the word contra means opposite you will never get it wrong. So that's contraflow bus lane.
You plan your route before starting a journey. Why should you also plan an alternative route? You may find you have to pay a congestion charge. Your maps may have different scales. Your original route may be blocked. You may get held up by a tractor.
So John Chitorasti too. You plan your route before starting a journey. Why should you also plan an alternative route? Yeah, the answer would be your original route may be blocked because of an accident or because of road works. So that's why we should also plan an alternative route. So your original route.
How should you overtake horse riders? Drive slowly and leave plenty of room. Use your horn just once to warn them. Speed isn't important but allow plenty of room. Drive up close and overtake as soon as possible.
How should you overtake horse rider? Yeah, we should allow plenty of room. Drive slowly and leave plenty of room. Drive slowly and leave plenty of
What's
room.
the purpose of these road markings? To ensure delivery vehicles have easy access to the school. To ensure children can see and be seen when they are crossing the road. To enable teachers to have clear access to the school. To enable parents to pick up or drop off children safely.
What's the purpose of these road marking? You see these road markings, you will see these outside the school. See, that's a yellow color, and by zebra crossing or by traffic lights, there will be white ones. Let me just show you that so you remember. See, by you see, this is outside the school, and this is by zebra crossing, or you see, so that's by zebra crossing, and that's by school, and it's, you're not allowed to park in there. Okay, so what's the purpose of these road marking? To ensure children can see and be seen when they're crossing the road. To ensure children can see and be seen when they're crossing the road. ترسو ماشومان چې کوم مکتب ته ځي هغه موټرونه ولیدلی سي، او همچنان ډرایوران چې دي ماشومان ولیدلی سي. د دې د وجې دا هلته وي، ځکه کوم ځای کې چې دا نښې وي هلته د موټر ودرولو اجازت نه وي. See, we are not allowed to park in here, and the reason for that is to ensure children can see and be seen when they are crossing the road.
What does this sign mean? No through road. Free parking zone ends. End of controlled parking zone. End of traffic calming zone.
What does this sign mean? So to understand this sign, you have to understand there is another sign. Let me just show you. So, where is it? Okay, this one. So if you look in here, so what does it say? Controlled zone. See, this is a control zone, and when this control zone area finishes, you will see this sign. So they are completely opposite each other. Okay, got that control zone there, or control zone khatam shi alta dagat. That sign razi. So when control zone area finishes, you will see this sign. So that's end of control zone. So the answer would be end of controlled parking zone. Boss Jesus, control zone. So whenever you're parking in a control zone, you should park it in a bay and pay in the times that's shown in there. And when the control zone area finishes, you will see this sign.
Why does the cyclist take the longer route around the roundabout? To avoid being dazzled by the sun. It's easier to give arm signals while you're on the left. Cyclists may keep to the left for safety. The cyclist is riding into a one-way street.
Why does the cyclist taking the longer route around the roundabout? So if we look at this, if you look at this car, is going more to the center of the roundabout. If you look at the car, it went in here. Same as the white car is going in here. But if you look at the cyclist, he's going more to the left. Why is he going more to the left? So he's not in the line of the traffic. He's keeping to the left for his safety. So the answer would be cyclists may keep to the left for safety. Cyclists may keep to the left for safety. Okay. Guys, if you don't understand any question, you can ask at the end. که کوم سوال پوی نشو آخر که تپوس کولی شی. اگر سوالو نفهمیدین در آخر پرسان کده میتونی. Okay, let me just show you this again, okay? So if you look at this car, is going more to the center of the roundabout. So did you see the car gone? Now the white one is coming more to the center as well. And where is the cyclist going? More to the left. Why is he going more to the left? So he's not in the line of the traffic. So if the cyclist was going in here, if any vehicle came from behind, they would be coming in here in the middle. So that's why the cyclist is keeping more to the left. So he's not in the line of the traffic for his safety. Is that clear now? Cyclists may keep to the left for safety. So he's not in the line of the traffic. So if the cyclist was traveling in the where the other vehicles were, like in here, cyclists would have been in the line of the traffic, so that's why it's keeping to the left.
You've just passed your first practical driving test. What will you have to do if you get 6 penalty points on your license in the next 2 years? Retake only your practical test. Retake only your theory test. Retake your theory and practical tests. Reapply for your full license immediately.
So if you get 6 penalty points after you pass your license, what will you have to do? You will have to start from 0. Okay, you start from 0 again. So if you get 6 penalty points after you pass your license, you start from 0 again. So you have to take both your practical plus your theory as well. You're taking both. So the answer would be retake your theory and practical tests. Basically, you're doing both.
What should you do if your vehicle pulls to one side when you use the brakes? Change gear and pump the brake pedal. Have the brakes checked as soon as possible. Use your parking brake at the same time. Increase the pressure in your tires.
What should you do if your vehicle pulls to one side when you use the brakes? Obviously, there is something wrong with the brakes, so what you have to do? Have the brakes checked as soon as possible. Have the brakes checked as soon as possible.
You've broken down on a two-way road. You have a warning triangle. At least how far from your vehicle should you place the warning triangle? 45 meters, 147 feet. 100 meters, 328 feet. 5 meters, 16 feet. 25 meters, 82 feet.
So how far you should put the hazard triangle from your vehicle when your vehicle is broken down on the road? That's 45 meters. 45 meters. And remember guys, meters are only mentioned 3 times. So there are only 3 questions about meters. One is 10 meters, one is 45 meter, and one is 100 meters. Okay, apart from these 3, there is no question about meters in the whole theory test. So it's 10 meters, 45 meters, and 100 meters. 10 meters, that's how far you should park your vehicle from a junction. 45 meters, which is this one, that's how far you should put the hazard triangle. And then 100 meters, you can use fog lights when visibility is less than 100 meters. درباره میتر که سوال ها هست، تئوری فقط 3 بار آمده. یک 10 میتر است، یک 45 میتر و دیگه 100 میتر. 10 میتر باید از جنکشن 10 میتر دور موترتان پارک کنین. از 10 میتر نزدیک پارک کردن نمیتونین. 45 میتر امی سوال است که hazard ترینگل باید چقدر دور از موترتان بانین. 100 میتر وقتی که تا 100 میتر دیده نمیتونین، در اون صورت میتونین فوگ لایتس استعمال کنین. So 100 meters, when visibility is less than 100 meters, that's when you should use fog lights. Okay, so 10 meters, that's how far you should park your vehicle from the junction. 45 meters, which is this one about hazard triangle, and 100 meters, when visibility is less than 100 meters, that's when you should use your fog lights. Is that clear now? So that's 10, 45 and 100 meters. Explain again. Okay, just so 10 meters, 10, 45 and 100. Let me just repeat that again. So 10 meters, that's how far you should park your vehicle from the junction. 10 meters, that's how far you should park your vehicle from the junction. 45 meters, which is this one, that's how far you should hazard triangle from your vehicle. And 100 meters, when visibility is less than 100 meters, that's when you should use your fog lights. When you cannot see up to 100 meters, that's when you use fog lights. Okay guys, if any one of you did not follow me, please do follow. Guys, if any one of you did not follow me yet, please do follow. And could you please everyone just share the live with your friends? I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
What should you do if your anti-lock brakes, ABS, warning light stays on? Check that the parking brake is released. Check the foot brake free play. Check the brake fluid level. Have the brakes checked immediately.
What should you do if your anti-lock brakes ABS warning light stays on? Fix it. Fix the problem. It's not C. It's not C. Do not check the brake fluid level. Have the brakes checked immediately, okay? So if anti-lock brakes warning light stays on, you should have the brakes checked immediately.
The driver towing the caravan wants to turn right onto the dual carriageway. What should they do? Move out when an approaching driver flashes their headlights. Turn left and find a suitable place to turn around. Move partly into the central reservation and wait until it's safe to turn. Wait until the road is clear in both directions before turning.
The driver towing the caravan wants to turn right onto the dual carriageway. What should they do? Okay, the answer is wait until the road is clear in both directions before turning. That's the answer. But guys, do you know what does it mean? So wait until the road is clear in both directions. That's the answer. But make sure you know what it really means, because when you go to test, they might change the wording. Cool. Okay, so the question is, let me just explain this. Where is it gone? So that's the caravan. So if you want to turn right, if you look in here, that's the central reservation. Can this vehicle fit in here? Guys, what do you think? This vehicle, the caravan, does it fit in here or not? No, exactly. So if he comes out in here, what will he do? He will block the road. He will block the road. So that's why he has to wait until there is no traffic on both sides. So if there is no traffic in here and also no traffic on the other side, that's the only time he can turn right. Is that clear now? So if he comes out before that, he will block the road. So that's why he has to wait until there is no traffic on both sides, okay? Okay, so that's why that's the answer. Wait until the road is clear in both directions before turning. Blue badge is given to disabled people for parking by the DVA.
Why is it dangerous to leave rear fog lights switched on after the fog has cleared? Electrical systems could be overloaded. The bulbs would fail. Direction indicators may not work properly. They may be confused with brake lights.
Guys, if you got any question, you can ask me at the end, okay? Up to me, you can ask me at the end, I'll explain that to you. Why is it dangerous to leave rear fog lights switched on or after the fog is cleared? Just remember, guys, fog lights are very bright, okay? They're very bright. So if there is no fog anymore, you should switch off, because that will dazzle other road users. سوال است که وقتی که غبار خلاص شوه امی لایت های غبار که سوره باید چرا بند کنیم، از خاطری که لایت های غبار بسیار تیز می باشه. وقتی که غبار نباشه و لایت های غبار چالان بانین امی چیز میکنن، یکیست که ششمای درایورها خیره میکنه، نمیفهم چی میگه، خیره میسازه، و دیگه مردم فکر میکنه که شما بریک لایت ها را بریک استعمال میکنین، چون که بریک لایت ها که از اون تیز است بسیار، و همچنان هم لایت های غبار که پشت موتر می باشه اون تیز می باشه، روشنایی زیاد می باشه، از اون خاطر مردم کنفیوز میشه و فکر میکنه که شما بریک استعمال میکنین. See why they may be confused with brake lights? Because fog lights, rear fog lights, they're very bright, and brake lights are also bright. So that's why people may get confused with brake lights. ګوره فوګ لایټس چې دي شاته د موټر چې کوم فوګ لایټس وي لړه کې چې کوم موږ لایټونه استعمالو هغه ډیر تیز وي سره وي او تیز وي او همچنان بریک لایټونه چې دي هغه هم سره وي او تیز وي نو کو چې کله لړه ختمه شي او موږ دا لایټونه نه وي بند کړي نو خلک ورسره کنفیوزیږي خلک دا فکر کوي کو تاسو بریک استعمالوئ so they may be confused with brake lights.
What must you do when you see this sign? Stop only if children are waiting to cross. Stop only if traffic is approaching. Stop even if the road is clear. Stop only if a red light is showing.
What must you do when you see this sign? So when you see this sign, you must stop. You must stop, okay? Whenever you see this sign, you must stop even if there is no traffic. You must stop even if there is no traffic at all. So the answer would be stop even if the road is clear, okay? You must stop.
What should you do when you're driving along a road that has a series of road humps? Set your car's cruise control. Stay at a reduced speed for the whole stretch of road. Vary your speed between each road hump. Brake firmly when you reach each road hump.
What should you do when you're driving along a road that has series of road humps? If a road got road humps, we should drive slowly on the road. کوم سړک باندې چې جمپونه وي باید موږ په ارامه ډرایوینګ وکړو stay at a reduced speed for the whole stretch of road so until you're on that road you should drive slowly on that road so stay at a reduced speed for the whole stretch of road رامین سوال است که در سرکی که جمع باشه در اون سرک باید ما چطور درایوینگ کنیم باید آهسته بریم تا که از اون سرک بیرون رفته نباشیم تا که در اون سرک باشیم باید آرام بریم Stay at a reduced speed for the whole stretch of road.
At an incident, someone is unconscious and you want to help. What would be the first thing to check? Whether they have any allergies. Whether their vehicle is insured. Whether they are comfortable. Whether their airway is open.
At an incident, someone is unconscious and you want to help. What would be the first thing to check? Answer is whether their airway is open. Guys, do you know what does airway means? Airway. Puigi airway samanada. Whether their airway is open. Airway means it's called, I think it's called trachea. Let me just show you a picture. So that's airway, okay? This is airway. That's airway. That's airway. It's called trachea as well. در دری امی چی حلق میگه گلون میگه نمیفهم چی میگه باید ببینین که چیز بند نباشه okay so check whether their airway is open و dry تنفس خب گلون است وقتی که انسان سرش پایین باشه امی گلونش بند میمانه از او خاطر کسی که سرش پایین باشه در اون صورت باید سرش هم بالا کنیم so you see how whether their airway is open so if someone's head is down their airway gets closed so in that case what do we tilt their head up to open their airway so whether their airway is open گوره چه کلم انسان سر خکته که اگه سر مره بندیگی نو په هغه صورت کې باید موږ یې سر اوچت کړو تر څو مرۍ کولا وسي
What would suggest you're driving on an icy road? There's less transmission noise. There's less engine noise. There's less tire noise. There's less wind noise.
What would suggest you're driving on an icy road? There will be okay there will be less tire noise and there is another answer for the same question guys do you know another answer for the same question what would suggest you're driving on an icy road so one answer is less tire noise And another answer for the same question is, does anyone know another answer? Light steering. Okay, light steering. Light steering. For the same question, another answer is light steering. Just remember that.
You take some cough medicine given to you by a friend. What should you do before driving your car? Drink some strong coffee 1 hour before driving. Ask your friend if taking the medicine affected their driving. Check the label to see if the medicine will affect your driving. Drive a short distance to see if the medicine is affecting your driving.
You take some cough medicine given to you by a friend. What should you do before driving your car? You should check the label to see if the medicine will affect your driving. باید لیبل وګورو د دوای چې آیا دا زموږ په ډرایوینګ باندې اثر اچوي که نه اچوي. باید مو لیبل دوای را ببینیم که آیا در سر ډرایوینگ ما کدام اثر میندازه یا نه. Check the label to see if the medicine will affect you.
Which sign means no motor vehicles allowed?
So that's no pedestrians. That's no motors allowed. And that's no overtaking. That's no motor vehicles allowed. That's no cars allowed, I think. This is no cars. Is it no cars or no motors allowed? I think this is no cars allowed. I'm not sure about this one. Is it no cars allowed? This one. I think this is no cars. So this is no pedestrians. That's no cars. This is no overtaking, and that's no motor vehicles. So that's no motor vehicles. Remember guys, you see this one also comes a lot of time, this one. So this is no pedestrians, okay? And that's no motor vehicles.
Your vehicle is stationary. When may you use its horn? When another road user poses a danger. When it's used only briefly. When signaling that you've just arrived. When the road is blocked by queuing traffic.
Your vehicle is stationary. Stationary means when you parked up somewhere. So when when your vehicle is not moving, that's stationary. When may you use its horn? Stationary توقف میگه در یک جایی که استاد باشین stationary. په ځای چې موټر ولاړ وي کله تاسو کولی شئ چې هارن استعمال کړئ. So your vehicle is stationary. When may you use its horn? When someone is putting you in danger, that's when you can use your horn or use your flashlight to let the other. And why would we use the horn? To let the other person know that you are there, or to warn them of your presence. Okay. په کوم صورت کې مونږ هارن استعمالو؟ کله چې مونږ څوک خطر مواجه کوي نو په هغه صورت کې مونږ هارن هم استعمالولی شو او فلش لایټ هم استعمالولی شو تر څو بل کس خبر کو د خپل ځان نه. وقتی که کس مرا در خطر میندازه در اون صورت میتونین هارن بزنین و یا فلش لایت بتین برای نفر که برایشان هشدار بدین که شما اونجا هستین. So when another road user poses a danger مواجه میکنه شما را در خطر. Explain again. So if you're stopped somewhere and someone is putting you in danger, that's when you can use your horn or use your flashlight. And the reason for that is to warn the other person of your presence, or to let them know that you are there, or to make them aware of your presence. Okay? So another road user poses a danger. Guys, if you still don't get the answer, you can ask me at the end, okay? Because we got just...
On what type of road surface may anti-lock brakes be ineffective? Dry. Firm. Smooth. Loose.
On what type of road surface may anti-lock brakes be ineffective? So where your brakes will not work properly, when the road is loose. Okay, loose is opposite of firm. Loose is opposite of firm. Okay, so loose. when it's a damaged road. I wish you all the best.
When may you stop on a motorway? If your mobile phone rings. If you have to read a map. When you're tired and need a rest. In an emergency or breakdown.
When may you stop on a motorway? When may you stop on a motorway? In an emergency or breakdown. You see, this question got few answers. Okay, so in an emergency or breakdown, when a traffic officer asks you to stop, when a police officer asks you to stop, when traffic signals are advising you to stop, if you are if you are involved in an accident, you must stop. So this question got few answers. Okay, so make sure you read the answers properly before answering this question. So in an emergency or breakdown.
You're waiting at a level crossing. What must you do if a train passes but the lights keep flashing? Park and investigate. Edge over the stop line and look for trains. Carry on waiting. Phone the signal operator.
If you're at the level crossing, the train passes and the lights are still flashing, what should you do? What does that mean when the lights are flashing? It means there is another train coming. So what would we do? We will wait. Okay, so we carry on waiting, okay, because another train is coming. That's why the lights are still flashing.
What does this signal from a police officer mean to oncoming traffic? Turn right. Stop. Turn left. Go ahead.
What does this signal from a police officer mean to oncoming traffic? So they're talking about this arm signal. This means stop. So this arm signal means stop to the traffic that's facing the police officer. But guys, do you know what does this arm signal mean? This means this is also stop for the traffic that's behind the police officer, okay? This is also stop sign for the traffic that's behind the police officer. So this is stop sign for the traffic that's facing the police officer, and that's stop sign for the traffic that's behind the police officer, okay? Nam stop sign the aga traffic the para come to that police officer مخې دی او دام stop sign the aga traffic that come to the police officer شاته دی. That's both stop sign, okay? One is for the traffic that's facing the police officer and the other one that's behind the police officer.
Why has the line in the center of the road changed? To warn of hazards ahead. To warn you the speed limit has changed. To warn you not to change lanes. To warn you there's a speed camera ahead.
Why has the line in the center of the road changed? Okay. So if we at the start of the video, if you look at the lines, you got big gap. You see, it's big gap. It's a big gap, and now the gap is small. You see, it's a small gap now. So whenever there is a small gap, it means that's a hazard line. Okay, see, it's a small gap, and whenever the gap is small between the white lines, it means that's a hazard line. Okay, so to warn of a hazard ahead. Salamuna. So that's to warn of a hazard ahead. کله هم چې د سپینو خطونو په منځ کې فاصله کمه وي، هغه د خطر لاینونه وي. که د ویډیو اول کې وګورو دغه فاصله غټه ده نه د سپین خطونو منځ کې، او دغلته وګورو اوس فاصله کمه شو، نو دا چې دی دا hazard line. So what's the hazard? Hazard, anything that can harm you, that's a hazard. No, potential, yeah, but anything that can harm you, it's a hazard. And what's the hazard in this video? Let me just show you. See, at the start of the video, you can see these two signs. One is double bend and the other one is crossroad. So crossroad is hazard as well, and double bend is also a hazard. Okay, so the answer would be to warn of hazard.
Which type of vehicle does this sign apply to? Wide vehicles, heavy vehicles, high vehicles, long vehicles.
Mubarak, Mubarak. Which type of vehicle does this sign apply to? That's high vehicles. And remember guys, you see, Salam, it's not B, it's not heavy vehicles. See these two black marks? So one on top and one at the bottom. You see these two? If these two are on the right and left side, do you know what would that mean? You see these black marks, that's one on top and one at the bottom. If these two are at the right and left side, then the answer would be wide vehicle. Just remember that, okay? Then the answer would be wide. So if these are top and bottom, the answer is high vehicles. If that's on the right and left, then that's for wide vehicles, okay? Salam Navijan. So if that's top and bottom, that's high vehicles. And normally you will see these are tunnels.
You have to arrive on time for an appointment. How should you plan for the journey? Avoid roads with the national speed limit. Plan to travel at busy times. Prevent other drivers from overtaking. Allow plenty of time for the trip.
Alhamdulillah. You have to arrive on time for an appointment. How should you plan for the journey? You should allow plenty of time for the trip. تاسو چرته appointment وي او غواړئ په وخت ورسیږئ نو باید څه شی وکړئ خپل سفر دپاره ډیر وخت مختص کړئ نه. Allow plenty of time for the trip so you can get there on time.
What should you do when you see these horse riders in front? Switch on your hazard warning lights. Give a right turn signal. Pull out to the middle of the road. Slow down and be ready to stop.
What should you do when you see these horse riders in front? You should slow down and be ready to stop. You should slow down and be ready to stop. Guys, could you please everyone just share the live once with your friends? Could you please everyone just share the live? And if any one of you did not follow me, please do follow, guys. If any one of you did not follow me yet, please do follow. And remember, I'm putting all these videos in my YouTube channel. So if any one of you did not subscribe to my YouTube channel, that's my YouTube channel, please do subscribe, because I'm putting all these videos, so in case if you don't come to the lesson, you can watch in my YouTube as well. And I'm uploading all these videos there, so you can watch it there. So that's the YouTube channel name, so please do subscribe if you didn't. It's the same name as my TikTok.
What should you do if your trailer starts to swerve or snake? Increase speed. Steer sharply. Reduce speed gently. Brake firmly.
What should you do if your trailer starts to swerve or snake? So if you lose control of your vehicle, or if you lose control of your trailer or caravan, what do? You slow down. You slow down. So the answer would be reduce speed gently. There is another answer for the same question which says ease off the accelerator to slow down. It's the same thing. Slow down or reduce speed gently, same thing. So reduce speed gently.
How can you avoid wheel spin when you're driving on an icy road? Drive in a low gear at all times. Drive at a slow speed in the highest gear possible. Use the parking brake if the wheels start to slip. Brake gently and repeatedly.
How can you avoid wheel spin when you're driving on an icy road? The only one time we use higher gear, we only use higher gear when we're driving in snow. Just remember, guys, just write down, George, I think you're getting it wrong. George, just remember, the only one time we use higher gear when we're driving in snow. The only time we use higher gear is when we're driving in snow. Apart from that, we always use lower gear. So for example, if you're driving downhill, it's a lower gear. When you're going uphill, it's a lower gear. When you want to reduce your speed, change it to a lower gear. When you're going through water across the road, we use lower gear. Only one time we use higher gear. That's when we're driving in snow. Just remember that. It's very easy to remember. Mishi, when we're driving in snow, we use higher gear, okay? Snow, higher gear. Just remember that. Apart from that, every time, if it's about gears, we always use lower gear. Apart from driving in snow, it's higher gear. So drive at a slow speed in the highest gear possible. So on icy road or snow, higher gear, okay? If you don't remember, if you can't remember, just write down snow equal to higher gear. You won't
What can
forget.
cause excessive or uneven tire wear? A faulty electrical system. A faulty exhaust system. A faulty braking system. A faulty gearbox.
What can cause excessive or uneven tire wear? A faulty braking system. And there is another answer for the same question. That's a fault in the suspension as well, okay? So if you got fault in the suspension, that will also damage your tires, okay? So one answer is faulty braking system and another answer is fault in the suspension, okay? So if you got fault in the suspension, it will damage your tires, and also if you got fault in the braking system. Just remember that, guys, okay? So in case if they don't bring, if you get this question in a test and they don't give you this option, the other option is a fault in the suspension, okay?
You're traveling on the motorway. How can you lower the risk of a collision when the vehicle behind is following too closely? Increase your distance from the vehicle in front. Move onto the hard shoulder and stop. Switch on your hazard warning lights. Brake sharply.
You're traveling on the motorway. How can you lower the risk of collision when the vehicle behind is following too closely? So the right answer is increase your distance from the vehicle in front. Increase your distance from the vehicle in front. And the reason for that is, why this is the right answer, because you see the vehicle behind you is too close, and if you have, say for example, if you got 5 meters with the vehicle that's in front of you, if that vehicle brakes in an emergency, you only got 5 meters to slow down. So if he use the emergency brake, if he stop all of a sudden, you only got 5 meters. So if you use your brakes, what will happen? The vehicle behind you will hit you. So that's why you increase the gap with the vehicle that's in front of you. So instead of say 5 meters, what do? You increase it to 15 meters. So if the driver that's in front of you stops suddenly, you got more time to slow down. So the vehicle behind you does not hit you, so you don't end up in an accident. So that's why you increase your distance from the vehicle in front. سوال دا دی چې په موټروي روان یاستئ، شاته موټر چې دی هغه تاسو پسې ډیر نږدې را روان دی، نو تاسو باید څه شی وکړئ؟ مخکې موټر سره فاصله زیاته کړئ. وجه څه ده؟ وجه دا ده که مخکې موټر سره ستاسو فاصله کمه وي او هغه موټر یو دمي بریک ووهي، نو شاته موټر هم وهي، ځکه تاسو به هم ورپسې زر بریک وهئ. که ستاسو هم مخکې موټر سره فاصله زیاته وي، که هغه یو دم بریک ووهي، نو تاسو ډیر ټیم لرئ چې په آرام سره ودرېږئ. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. So that's why you see you should understand the reasons behind the answers. The most important thing is the reasons behind the answers. So if you don't understand any answer, what do? Find the reasons behind the answers. And once you know the reasons behind the answer, it becomes very easy. So that's why we increase the distance so the vehicle behind us does not hit us. So increase the distance from the vehicle.
You're about to drive home. What should you do if you feel very tired and have a severe headache? Wait for a short time, then drive home slowly. Drive home if you can stay awake for the journey. Wait until you're fit and well before driving. Drive home, but take a tablet for headaches.
You're about to drive home. What should you do if you feel very tired and have severe headache? Don't drive, basically. So the answer would be don't drive. Wait until you're fit and well before driving.
What does it mean if you see a pedestrian with a dog that has a yellow or burgundy coat? The pedestrian is deaf. The pedestrian is a dog trainer. The pedestrian is colorblind. The pedestrian is an older person.
What does it mean if you see a pedestrian with a dog that has a yellow or burgundy coat? Pedestrian is deaf. So if you see a pedestrian with a white cane, what would that mean? So if you see a pedestrian with a white cane, that means he is blind. And if you see a pedestrian with a white cane with red bands, he's deaf and blind, okay? And if you got a dog with yellow burgundy coat, he's deaf. So white cane, blind. White cane with red bands, deaf and blind. Dog with yellow burgundy coat, deaf. Okay, so the pedestrian is...
You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking a long time for it to overtake? Hold your speed. Speed up. Slow down. Change direction.
You're being overtaken by a long, heavily laden lorry. What should you do if it's taking long time for it to overtake? You should slow down. You should slow down and allow it to overtake.
What should you do if the vehicle starts reversing off the driveway? Sound your horn and be prepared to stop. Speed up and drive through quickly. Drive through as you have priority. Move to the opposite side of the road.
What should you do if the vehicle starts reversing off the driveway? So if you're driving in here and if you start to reverse, he's posing a danger. So if a driver is posing a danger, what do? We sound the horn to let him know. Sound your horn and be prepared to stop, okay? Because he's posing a danger, and we use the horn to let him know that we are there, or to warn him of your presence.
You're driving in heavy traffic on a wet road. Which lights should you use if there's a lot of surface spray? Side lights only. Main beam headlights. Rear fog lights if visibility is more than 100 meters, 328 feet. Dipped headlights.
You're driving in heavy traffic on a wet road. Which lights should you use if there is a lot of surface spray? We use dipped headlights. Dipped headlights.
As you approach a pelican crossing, the lights change to green. What should you do if older people are still crossing? Wave them to cross as quickly as they can. Flash your lights in case they haven't noticed you. Wait patiently while they cross. Rev your engine to make them hurry.
As you approach a pelican crossing, the lights change to green. What should you do if older people are still crossing? Obviously, you should wait and allow them to cross the road. So wait patiently while they cross. George, no. Wave them across. You should never wave them, okay? You should never wave them. That's a wrong answer. Okay, so wait patiently while they cross. Wait patiently while they cross. I'm gonna come back to that. Okay, 49. Which one we got wrong? Let me just check.
How should you give an arm signal to turn left?
Which one we got wrong? Oh, I clicked it wrong. So just dipped headlights.